and instead of just keeping it to herself, she decided to go and tell everybody, and it spread, and now everybody knew, but it wasn't my choice for people to know. No, she exposed me. I was outed and I was really hurt by it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jordyn, and welcome back to another Jordyn video. Welcome back to another episode of Starbies and Stories. I believe this is the 4th one, which is pretty cool. If you're new here, Starbies and Stories is where I try a new Starbucks drink each week and I tell a juicy and relatable subscriber submitted story. And I tell the stories anonymously because of privacy, obviously. So in this week's story, in honor of Pride Month, I wanted to share a coming out story, and it is a coming out horror story, but there is a really good moral involved. So before we get into the story, I'm going to start off with today's Starbucks drink, and it is an iced pineapple matcha, and it's very green. It looks like it has spinach in it, but I'm excited. It's new. I've never tried it, so I'm kind of scared because it's green, but I'm kind of excited also. I'm having mixed reactions here. Okay, so Okay, so the first sip, it tasted good, and then it just started tasting like nastiness towards the end of it. I had such high hopes. Never order anything green. Yeah. Ew! Let's just jump right into this week's story. So my childhood was pretty normal. Nothing really bad happened. My family wasn't openly homophobic or anything. My dad was just the type of person that would be like, oh, I don't care about it, but I just don't want to see it. It's kind of weird. It's not supposed to be like that, but if it happens, I guess. But I don't want to see it in my household or whatever. And I honestly thought it was pretty weird because I was like, what's the big deal about it? But I was young, so I didn't think so much of it. So let's fast forward, and I'm in the 5th grade, and I have my first ever crush that I really had a crush on, and it was a girl, and I felt a little weird because all my friends were always talking about how they had crushes on boys, and the boys had crushes on girls, but I've never heard of a girl having a crush on a girl. So I honestly thought, oh, maybe it's just because I want to be her friend. It's a friend crush. And that didn't really seem to make any sense when I told one friend of mine. She was just like, what's a friend crush? You want to be her friend? And I was like, I guess, because I didn't really know what it was at the moment. And I kind of felt weird because I just felt like the odd one out when all of my friends would be talking about, oh my god, I have a crush on Jason, or oh my god, I have a crush on Billy. I would be like, well, I don't know, I have a crush on a girl, but it's not really a crush because my friends call it a friend crush. So my dad is always talking about how it should be man and woman and not woman and woman, and that he doesn't want to see that type of stuff. And I didn't want to say anything because I was like, well, what if he finds it weird that I like some girl? And I felt really bad about it, and I don't know why. I just didn't like that I had a crush on a girl. Fast forward, I'm still in 5th grade, and we're at lunch, and all my friends are sitting around, and one of my friends are we're playing truth or dare, and every girl is picking truth and nobody's really picking dare because we're in the lunchroom, we don't want to get in trouble. And one girl said truth, and she said, okay, who's your crush? And the girl, of course, said a boy name, and then everybody started saying, they're going around the table and saying the crush's name, and oh my god, you guys are so cute together, blah blah blah. And when it got around to me, they asked who my crush was, and I was like, I don't have one. And everybody thought it was so weird. They're like, what about Jason? What about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? What about Bob? And I was so stressed because I was like, I don't find any of them appealing. So I was like, well, I do think this girl is pretty. And then they all looked at me like, yeah, but that's a friend. You need to pick a boy. And I kind of froze and I was confused because I was like, I've never had a crush on a boy, and I just felt like really weird at that moment because my friends were like, it has to be a boy. So I was like, oh, maybe it does have to be a boy. So let's fast forward a little bit. It's kind of towards the end of 5th grade, and we're getting ready to go into 6th grade, and I'm now forcing myself to have boy crushes. And I'm like, oh my god, he's so cute, knowing that I was lying, and I just forced myself to have a crush on guys that I didn't like at all, just so I would kind of fit in, because I still remember that day where everybody told me that it has to be a boy, it can't be a girl. So I was like, I kind of changed my whole thing. I never really like, I still had crushes on girls, but I wouldn't say anything. I would just be like, oh yeah, I just want to be her friend, or oh yeah, she's pretty but I like him, and it would just be such a lie. And I kind of lied my way through the rest of 5th grade just so I could fit in with the other girls. And now let's go into 6th grade. So there's this girl in one of my classes, and I think she's really pretty, but again, I don't say anything, and I just make myself ignore it, and just like, it's nothing, I just blow it off. And in one of my classes, I actually had a teacher that had a wife, and her wife were super nice, and her wife would come in and bring her lunch and stuff. And one time the class started asking questions like, who's this girl that keeps bringing you lunch? Like, who is she? Is she like your assistant or something? And she said, no. And my teacher said, no, she's my wife. And the class kind of got like a mixed reaction, and I was like, oh, that's so cute, whatever. And some of the like boys and some of the girls in my class started like making fun of her, and like secretly, and during lunch they would like talk behind my teacher's back, like, and they would say like really mean stuff. And sometimes online they would like post really like they would say just like homophobic slurs, and it was like really messed up, and it hurt me because I was like, is it really that wrong? Like, or is it so wrong that people are actually getting really upset about this? And one time some kid told their mom about my teacher, and their mom tried to call up the school and get my teacher in trouble for having a wife. And I was confused because, like, well, men have wives all the time, and nobody calls up the school for them. So I was upset because I was like, what's the deal? And then I also was kind of got like insecure in a way, because I was like, I know I have these girl crushes, but I keep putting them off, but I'm gonna have to keep it a secret, because what if I tell somebody that I have a girl crush and they get mad at me and they call me somebody to get me in trouble? So I kind of had that in the back of my mind, and sometimes in the front of my mind, that I would get in trouble and it would be such a bad thing for liking a girl. So again, I never really said anything. I just kept to myself, didn't say anything. And one day, my teacher was standing in front of the class, and she started talking about her and her wife and how it's important to just love yourself and be yourself, and not to let anybody discourage you. It was kind of at the end of class, so after the end of class, I went to her and I talked to her, and I was like, so it's just normal? It's not anything wrong? And then she's like, no, it's normal, you love who you love, blah blah blah, it's not really a big deal like everybody makes it out to be, it's just regular. So I thought about that, and I was like, that's true, it's just regular. So I went home that day really excited, and then I heard my dad talking in the living room about me having a teacher that had a wife. And he was talking to my mom, and he was saying how kids shouldn't be exposed to that at a young age, and how it's disgusting how she decided to put her life out there like that. And it made just me like really upset and really sad, and I just like went in my room and I kind of cried, because I was like, well, I feel the same way as my teacher. I like girls. I think I do, at least. And my dad's over there talking about how it's disgusting and how it shouldn't be shown to the world. So I kind of like just went in my room and I kind of cried that night. Okay, so now I'm in the 7th grade. I have new friends, and I have one of them which is my best friend, and I'm with her, I'm around her the most, and another one which is just another girl, and she's super nice, she's super sweet, she's super funny, and I kind of have like a develop a crush on her, and I'm starting to like her a lot. We're hanging out like a lot, the 3 of us together, and sometimes me and the girl are alone. Let's just call her Sydney so I don't have to call her the girl the entire time. So Sydney is super nice, and I loved hanging out with her. She was super pretty, and I developed a crush on her, like I said. So I'm not sure what to do, because at this point I'm kind of like not trying to like ignore it and force myself to have boy crushes. Now I'm just like, hey, I like girls, I like this girl, and I think she's pretty. So I go to one of my friends, my best friend, and I'm like, okay, what should I do about this? Like, should I tell her? Should I not? What if it ruins our friendship? And she just says, go for it. The words that she could say is no. So I'm like, yeah, true. That's true. So I go over to her one day, and I'm like, hey, I have a crush on you, I like you, and it's really tough for me to say this, but I do, I like you. And at first she thought it was a joke, and she started laughing, and she's like, girl, what do you mean? And she started laughing at me, and I was like, it's not a joke. And she's like, are you for real? And I was like, yeah, I'm for real. And she was like, oh. And she was kind of like nice, she was nice about it, and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't like you like that. I don't like you like that. I kind of just think of you as a friend. And you know, like, getting rejected anytime hurts. So I was just like, yeah, I kind of assumed that, so I kind of saw that coming. So she was just like really nice about it. She didn't like hurt me. She didn't like be like, ew, what the heck? But she just kind of like, it's okay, but I don't have the same feelings for you. And so we walked away, and then I could just see, we kind of just became a little bit distant. And then I started noticing random girls would come up to me and be like, do you have a crush on me? And I'd be like, no. I was really confused, and I realized that everybody knew that I liked girls, but I never told anybody but 2 people. One of them being my best friend, and one of them being the Sydney girl. So I was super confused. People were coming up to me, oh, do you think I'm pretty, or do you think she's pretty? What girl do you have a crush on? And boys are kind of like saying like, oh, she likes girls, don't go up to her. And I was confused, and I was kind of getting upset, and I went to my best friend and I asked her if she knew anything about this, and she was like, no, I never told anybody, and you know me, I would never tell anybody that. I got really upset because I was like, it had to be Sydney. It had to be the Sydney girl. And I was like, I was just mad because, I mean, like, nobody was really being mean about it. Nobody was like, you know, hurting on me. They were kind of just like making jokes here and there whenever they walked by me. But I was just mad because it wasn't my choice. I didn't want the whole school to know about it. I only wanted like 1 or 2 people to know, and instead of just keeping it to herself, she decided to go and tell everybody, and it spread, and now everybody knew, but it wasn't my choice for people to know. No, she exposed me. I was outed, and I was really hurt by it. I was so mad about her because I trusted her, and I just regretted ever having a crush on her again. So that was the coming out horror story, and that was actually a subscriber submitted story, like I said in the beginning, and I'm gonna keep it anonymous because privacy, guys. Privacy. Yeah, but that was the story, and I kind of hope you guys enjoyed it. And the moral of the story is to honestly mind your business. If it isn't your story, don't tell it. Like, it isn't your story to tell. If someone talks to you about something that's going on in their life, that doesn't give you an open door to go and tell everybody else. So just mind your business, and it doesn't matter like who you love or who you like. It's not wrong to like somebody, and if someone thinks that it's wrong, that's honestly their problem, because they're cuckoo in the head. Like, that's the moral of the story, and I kind of hope this helped some of you guys out, because I know it didn't really have like the best ending, like the happy ever after ending in the world, but it still was a very good story to hear, because, you know, there might be some of you out there that are going through the same thing, and you just need to know that other people are also going through it, and other people, you know, worked it out and pushed through it. So if you guys want to submit in a story, you can, I'll put it down in the description. You can use my email, my Gmail, or you can DM me on Insta. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff, Happy Pride Month, and I love